out. But in my opinion, he often plays way better against foreigners than he does against Koreans. I don't know if that's like part of his brute war mindset, that he just feels that Koreans are superior in every single way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Actually, I've noticed that as well, and there may be some sort of mental block for him about this. So that's a very good point.
We'll see. You look great there on screen, Wolf.
Thank you. You look great too.
I like your hair.
Thanks. Yours looks great as well. I like your shirt.
Yes, man. I've been shopping for that one. Korea's awesome to shop for clothes.
Korea does have great shirts.
So for everybody who just tuned in, this is a super match where either of these two guys is going to walk away with a Samsung notebook. Not bad for a single best of 3 show match. And even the loser of this best of 3 will walk away with $500. So that's still a really nice prize.
Yeah, it's quite a nice prize. And they also get to test out the notebook. They're both playing on one. And so it's pretty awesome. You know, you're playing on the notebook, you feel it's pretty good. And if you win, you just get to keep it. So pretty good setup.
Well, it seems like the players are ready. The countdown is starting, so we'll be right back with Game 1 between MVP and Sen.
Okay, guys, over here at the top right, our red Terran player, it is MVP. And over at the bottom left, our Zerg player from Taiwan, playing as blue, he is Sen from the team Gamania.
Yes, indeed. So, of course, we're going to have cross-map once again. This is something that's, in all WCG maps, it's forced cross-position. Not all players seem to be aware of this, though. I saw a couple of times people just scouting close positions. Today I watched a game of Bling where he went for a counter-attack and then he walked to the wrong position twice. I was like, Bling, what on earth are you doing? He's like, yeah, I forgot it's forced cross. Well, no big deal for Bling because he's actually playing a phenomenal World Cyber Games tournament.
Yeah, and, it's you know, it's an old habit. Of course, when Metalopolis was out on the ladder, it used to be you could have close positions. So sometimes people just have that habit of scouting.
Yeah, I still do. I find myself doing it as well, and I always hate myself as soon as I realize that he can't even possibly spawn there. Yeah. I already feel like I'm behind for no reason. It's like, all right, this game is
quite frustrating.
This game is lost, man. I scouted close position. That's not going to work anymore. MVP had a very solid World Cyber Games so far. I think he went 6-0 in his group. Is that correct?
I believe so, yeah. He's obviously a very top-notch player and has a lot of experience in StarCraft 1 and in StarCraft 2.
And of course he's playing on home soil as well, so that should help out just a little bit. MVP for many people considered to be the main favorite for the World Cyber Games 2011. Of course there is Supernova and OGS, Marine King Prime as well, so those two guys obviously have a really good shot at taking it as well. And we still have a couple of really scary foreigners in the bracket. But for now, all we have to focus on is this super match. We see MVP on your screen right there. One thing we should add, and I add it every game, players are allowed to use their own mouse and mousepad, but they are forced to use the keyboard of the laptop, so that could definitely have an influence on their playstyles.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their favorite keyboard, the keyboard they're used to. A lot of people really don't like the style of keys on laptops, so it's definitely going to be something that affects the mentality of these two players as they go through this.
Yeah, definitely. We saw Lin in the previous best of 3 in the Warcraft 3 super match against Fly, and he was obviously struggling quite a bit. He was complaining a little bit as well. He's just not used to that at all. I do feel it's something you can definitely get used to in the long run. But if you always use a standalone keyboard and you suddenly have to play on the laptop, that can be really quite inconvenient.
Well, these laptops are quite powerful, so I mean, it's not going to be, that will be probably the biggest thing they have to deal with. It's not like they're playing with an inferior computer or anything like that. But yeah, not having your keyboard attached is definitely something that's going to make you feel a little bit iffy. Looks like we're going to have a Reactor Hellion expand here for MVP. Pretty good build for this matchup on this map.
Yep, of course. Going to give him a lot of map control. He's going to be able to cruise around with those Hellions. I'm always curious to see how many Hellions is the Terran player really going to produce. It seemed like European Terrans for a long time, they always went for 6. It's like the magic number, they always went for 6. Nowadays it's more like 4. And they don't really sacrifice the Hellions anymore. They just keep them alive. But we'll see what MVP does. With MVP, you never know.
Yeah, with MVP, you don't know. I think he'll probably make 4 to 6. Wants to pressure with those. And his opponent went for a hatchery first, so he's going to have to be very careful. He's not going to have Zergling speed out very quickly. So he's going to have to be very cautious about how he deals with these Hellions. He's absolutely going to need at least one Spine Crawler at the front of his natural.
Yep, once again, we're going to see how Sen is going to deal with this, and there's definitely something on stake for Sen, because he didn't really have the most successful World Cyber Games, and that's a little bit disappointing, because we all know what a world-class player Sen can be.
Yeah.
He's already morphing in a roach one, so it seems like he wants to get a couple of quick roaches out, to be able to deal with those Hellions. Meanwhile, in the main base of MVP, we do see that command center going up as well.
Yeah, and getting that Roach Warren is actually really becoming more common in this matchup because it gives you two options. You can defend the Hellions, you can also put pressure on your opponent at his expansion. So it's a really good choice for Sen to grab that early Roach Warren. He doesn't even have to use it necessarily if he doesn't want to.
I must say, of all the modified maps, I think I like this one the most. It really looks kind of cool. Anyway, we see a bunker going up, even quite far away from the hedge, of course, because there's quite a bit of creep as well.
Well, it distracted the Queens, and now the Hellions have gotten into the main base.
Very smart move right there by MVP. Let's see how many drones he's able to kill so far. One drone did fall.
Yeah, not a lot of drone kills here. Looks like he's just going to get 2, 3.
Wow. And of course, a really good scout off as well. He saw all those roaches popping out. So I actually think that MVP is quite satisfied with the way that turned out.
Definitely so.
We see in the unit tab right now, we have 28 drones for Sen and 24 SCVs for MVP already, who switched up the barracks and the factory once again. So we're going to have a reactor on that barracks, and we have a tech lab on the factory already. So the first siege tank should be out in the near future.
And it looks like MVP already knew this hatchery was going to be here. He tried to kill the drone that went to make it, but just barely was not able to get it. And Overlord is going to come in here. In fact, two Overlords coming in. Yeah.
Wow.
Wants to make sure he absolutely sees everything inside of MVP's base.
Yep, he wouldn't be able to do it with one. Of course, that's something you cannot know as Zerg player. You cannot know that you scout everything at once. I'm not sure if the second Overlord will be able to get out in time, though. It would be nice to see. Once again, guys, we are just casting over a screen. We do not actually have control over the mouse and keyboard, so we will not always be able to talk about what we want to talk about.
Yeah, right. It's just a observer screen that we've got here for you guys.
How do you guys do that in code and GSL? Because I remember when I was in Korea and I casted for GUM, a Warcraft tournament, it was like this as well. And
well, we have one screen that's like this one that we don't control, and that's what the audience sees. But we also have a second computer that we can look on to check things for ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's really smart, and I think that's a lot more convenient as casters. So you always be able to get confirmation of certain things. You can double check it.
Right. Well, right now it looks like MVP is going to move out with a pretty large push. Wants to hit that third base, put some pressure on since his opponent took that fairly quick third hatchery. And Sen knows about this, though. How is he going to respond? He's getting double upgrades right now, +1 Carapace and +1 melee weapons. He does not have a lot of units, though, and he's, in fact, still making drones right now. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold this. He only has 4 roaches out on the map.
Only 4 roaches. Such a ridiculously quick push by MVP once again. Something we've seen quite often at BlizzCon. Yeah, the double Evo chamber is not really going to work out. Sen is going to lose at Overlord. He's not supply capped yet, though. But straight away, pulling all his drones, realizing that there's no way in this world that he's going to be able to keep this hatchery alive.
He just spent a round of larva on drones, so he's making 5 roaches right now, but there's no way he can keep this hatchery alive. And he's actually in trouble because the second wave is coming in here. He might actually just die, Rotterdam, if he doesn't prepare right now.
Yep, 71 supply of 75 right now from MVP. I think MVP is quite satisfied with what he achieved right now. And he's just going to back off, get a couple of additional tanks. I don't think Stim is ready yet because he started researching that one quite late. But obviously a very successful cancel on that third. And it's kind of funny how MVP does that so often and it still catches everybody off guard.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I'm a little bit surprised. I think Sen, he saw the push coming. Yeah. I mean, like, he had vision of it, but he did not actually see it on his map or something. He did not react at all, and that was the price he paid. He lost his hatchery there. He's lost a lot of control of the map. His creep spread right now is not as good as it could be, so MVP has got a really nice position right now.
I must say, for the 10-minute mark, I think it's quite decent, actually. I don't think it could have been much better than this. What is still working for Sen, though, is that he has a lot of drones right now. He has like 52, 53 drones against only 33 SCVs for MVP. But of course, MVP has the double over to command. He will be able to pump out those SCVs quite quickly as well. We even see in the production tab a third command center on his way already.
Yeah, and one thing that really Sen still has going for him is he still does have that worker count. He didn't really lose any drones in that engagement. Yeah, making 14 drones right now, in fact. So he's going to have a really nice economy once that third base re-emerges. And with the macro hatchery that he made, he's going to have a lot of production. So he's not, he's behind, but he's not out of it.
No, meanwhile, we see MVP destroying that neutral supply depot. That always reminds me of Beastie QT. I once casted a game on Shakura's where there wasn't any fake depot, and he just killed his own depot, and then he rebuilt it again. And I was like, Beastie, what on earth are you doing? He's like, yeah, it was fake. I was like, no, man, it wasn't. But yeah, I must say this was actually quite smart by Sen. I mean, okay, he got caught off guard with that push. It was a bit too early, but he pulled away all his drones. He lost literally nothing besides the hatchery. He still had all of his drones alive. He still had in drones. So if you have like 50, 55 drones on 2 bases, I mean, it's a little bit oversaturated, but it's not the end of the world.
Right.
So it's actually quite smart. And right now he's still in decent shape. He's up in supply. He has a really nice drone count, I'd say. I think it's 69. It's hard to see from the screen, but I think he has 69 drones right now.
Right.
So yeah, quite smart play by Sen actually.
Yeah, he's up about 20 workers right now. The real numbers, I can see him over here slightly, is 71 to 51. And, you know, Sen, I think, needs to take a 4th base. He may decide to go for that center base, but I think he's actually transitioning into the mid-game here pretty well. He's just now getting Zergly speed. It's 2/3 of the way done. MVP has a 3rd base. He's got a very strong army, but he doesn't really have medevacs out right now. Only 2 medevacs out on the map, and one of them actually going to go and drew a drop here.
Yep. At least he will get the confirmation there's nothing going on the north side of the map. Meanwhile, Sen will be able to spot that medevac on the main base as well. I'm not sure if he has any units in position. He does have units in position at his 3rd base though, so far really solid defense by Sen.
Yeah, and maybe get a queen here. Does get the queen. Get a micro against these slow Zerglings.
I love how MVP is just idling that medevac over there. Yeah, those slow links, of course, not very effective, but at least he's going to force his medevac to pick up the Marines for now. I love the Overlord spread so far from Sen. If you look at the minimap, he has blue dots everywhere.
Yeah.
It's going to make it a lot easier to see those drops coming in time.
Yeah, he literally has vision of every place a drop could go. With the creep spread he's got right now, his creep is quite nice. He's got just Overlords on every corner of the map.
Oh, this is a really scary push though, and we do have that infestation pit on the map, but we do not have a single infestor yet. We do see him researching those also important pathogen glands right now. Of course, he wants to wait 30 seconds in so his infestors will spawn with that energy upgrade, but that might actually be a little bit too late, and losing your 3rd hatch again in this phase of the game, that would be crucial.
Oh yeah, man. If he loses that hatchery, he may very well lose the game, and it looks like he's not going to be able to keep that 4th base at the very least, though.
Oh,
and a
he's
huge
engaging. Why are we not watching the engagement?
I don't know, but here we go.
Yes, all of the Zerglings streaming in right now, but those Marines are doing a ton of damage. The Roach is trying to get in range, but so far I think MVP is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Now he takes the supply lead here, and Sen desperately trying to remax right now. Looks like MVP going to drop in the main. He's ignoring the 4th hatchery. Instead, is going to go for the 3rd base again. The Baneling Nest is finished.
Not having Banelings in the previous fight really hurted Sen quite a bit.
Absolutely.
He's losing more and more Roaches in the process. His macro, you could say, slipped a little bit.
Yeah, his macro is slipping. His multitasking is not. He's just not multitasking here. He's not dealing with the drop.
But we have still those Roaches attacking those siege tanks as well, but we're looking at the main base. There we have those tanks on the low ground. Excellent positioning by our MVP. Those Marines in the main base are dealing a ton of damage.
Yeah, they may in fact even kill all these drones.
Fighting Stim Marines with drones, well, it works.
And I gotta say, it looks like he's gonna get a surround on this other army that you guys can see on the minimap.
Yes.
It's hard to say. I'm sorry, these Marines are really important to our observer. GG!
Yes. I'm not sure what that was all about, but actually normally like one guy who's observing, that's actually like his full-time job. Like he gets picked, like he has to do quality.
He may be a Warcraft 3 observer just doing this match or something like that. I don't know.
Looking at the main army all the time, or at something small. Fantastic game by MVP though. I think really solid from start to finish.
Absolutely.